Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Eric. Now, today's video is going to be really difficult for me to make because this is something that I still have nightmares about. And currently, I'm 24. What this is going to be about took place between the ages of 6 to 14. And if you can kind of just tell by the title or just the tone of my voice, this is going to be about the abuse that I endured from my stepfather. So, as you guys know, in the past, I've made videos using my platform to try to raise awareness for mental illness, such as depression, bipolar, anxiety, just mental illness in general. And I've tried to provide help for people like that who have suffered from anything like that. So I left, different phone numbers, different organizations that they could have contacted. My Discord is a safe place for anybody that has any sort of mental illness or has dealt with abuse, whether it's from parents or a significant other. But I want you guys to know that no matter what, on this channel, you're not going to be judged for anything like that. So keep that in mind. And I would highly recommend that you do join the Discord server. I have a lot of people in there that have dealt with abuse, that have dealt with bullying, that have dealt with mental illness, that have dealt with a lot of just different stuff. So it's going to be in the description for you guys. And I'm going to leave something for child abuse as well as domestic violence abuse as well in the description. That way, you guys, instead of maybe trusting me, you can talk to professionals and maybe that'll help. But anyways, I digress. So this started at the age of 6 years old. Before that, I was living in Chicago with my grandparents and my mom, who was single at the time. Basically, I didn't see my mom a lot because she was working. So essentially, my grandparents are my parents. So when my grandma passed away, that hit really hard. And right now, currently, I live with my grandfather and I help take care of him and all that. He's in good health, so I'm glad that I still have a father type figure like him in my life because he taught me everything I know. He's taught me how to be the man I am today. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. But back to the story. So my mom has known my stepfather now for 25 years, so half of her life. She just turned 50, so I would say about half of her life. And she had me when she was in her mid-20s as well, so right around the time I guess she met him, I was born. Anyways, lo and behold, in the future, they ended up getting married after a couple of months of dating. And I knew something wasn't right. I didn't feel it. I don't know. I don't know how to really explain it. But I wasn't excited. I wasn't excited to, finally, quote unquote, have a father figure in my life when my grandpa was there. I wasn't excited that I literally got ripped away from my grandparents at the age of 6. I remember around the age of 6, I was happy. I remember what happiness feels like, and I haven't felt that since I was 6. So to have everything taken away from me like that and move to a completely different city with a completely different setting and a new person in your life that you don't really care for, it hurts. And I think that's where it started. And at the age of 6, obviously, as a child, your brain is still developing. So lo and behold, we move in with my stepfather, or whatever you want to call him. I don't like calling him my stepfather, or when my mom refers to him as my dad, I don't like that. I don't like referring to him at all, as a matter of fact. So at the age of 6, this is the first night, keep in mind. I was obviously, I was kind of scared because, him being a cop, and I forgot to mention that, he was pretty intimidating to be on the fair side, especially when you're 6 years old. You haven't really had that much interaction with this person, and he's a cop. So usually what happens with police officers or detectives, and I'm not saying all of them are like that. I respect about 99% of police officers and detectives that are out there, but some of them bring their work home. If they have a rough day at work, they'll bring that at home and take it out on people who are there. And I happen to be the lucky person that he took it out on. So basically the first night, I didn't want to sleep on a waterbed. I just wanted to sleep like on the couch or something like that, because it really wasn't comfortable. The room that I had, it had this like really musky odor, like there was mold or something in the room. And apparently because I complained, he took a lot of offense to that, and he wanted me to refer to him as my God. Swear on my grandma's life that he told me to call him God. My mom wasn't there. She was at work. Every time I got abused, my mom was at work. It seemed like he waited for that right moment when she left. And I know she still blames herself for the abuse that happened when it's not her fault at all. And I have to keep reassuring her that it's not her fault. So it was basically mental abuse that started off from the age, I would say, to 6, about 2 or 3 years. So from 6 to like 8 to 9, it was just a constant bombardment of mental abuse. You know, I wouldn't amount to anything. I'm a terrible son. You won't do anything in school. You're not going to get anywhere in life. Stuff like that. And hearing that every day, along with my brain developing, still, I think that ended up making me develop things like the depression, the bipolar, the anxiety, because I didn't know any better. When I was with my grandparents, I was actually treated with respect. When I lived with my stepfather, I was degraded, I was belittled, and that's not right at all, especially being a child. So at the age of 9, that's when the physical abuse started. If I said something that he didn't deem good or that he didn't like, I would just get smacked, I'd get punched, stuff like that. Eventually, my mom and my stepdad ended up having children. And that's the only thing that I appreciate from him, is my 2 little sisters, because I treat them like my kids. And that's kind of what I had to do. I had to grow up very quickly because I had to basically take care of my little sisters, because he wouldn't want to. He would always be sleeping. He would always be on the computer playing a video game. And I basically had to make sure they ate, they were clean, like bathed, their homework was done, they were in their pajamas, and they were in bed by like 9 or 10 o'clock. So I had to grow up very quickly. And if I messed up, I would get beaten. And if my sisters were messed up, he would raise his hand towards my sisters. But me being the protective big brother that I am, I stepped in front of them, and I would take the full force beating just to make sure that they were okay. And the beating and the mental abuse lasted all the way up until my freshman year, which obviously is around the age of 14. And that's when my mom finally saw what happened. She didn't want to believe that I was getting abused, because as a parent, she thought that I was just a kid that didn't approve of who she married. And partly she was right, but she thought I was making the abuse up to make him look bad. Until she finally came home from work one day, and it was about 2 hours early. As she walked in the front door, that's when he punched me in the side of the head. For all I know, I could have had multiple concussions and just not realized it, but she saw that it actually happened, and I didn't know what to do. All throughout my life of being abused, I tried so many ways to get out of it. I tried calling 911, but he would take the phone away. I would try calling my grandparents for help. He would take the phone away. He would ground me from the phone, saying I was a bad kid and that I was grounded for an extended amount of time. There was one point where he tried grounding me for a whole summer, and to make things worse, he would leave the front door open, so I would see all of my friends outside. They would look at me, and then they would just kind of, their morale was just kind of deflated because I couldn't go out and play with them. How fucked is that? Like, how sadistic do you have to be to torment someone that much? And I just don't understand what goes through someone's head. I really don't. And sorry guys, I'm getting choked up. Okay. Alright, I'm good. So, anyways, let's fast forward to now. I still get nightmares about what happened all throughout my life. Recently, the past couple of nights, I've had a nightmare where he's worn steel-toed boots, and this happened as well. And I was laying on the floor playing with my mom's dog because I ended up buying her a dog maybe a couple years ago as a Christmas and a birthday present technically too. And I was just laying on the ground playing with him. He walked in the door, stepped on my throat in the first dream, and tried choking me, and I woke up and I had a red mark going across my throat. Then the very next night, which at the time of recording was last night, he stomped on my throat instead of just putting his foot on there and putting pressure. And again, I woke up with a mark on my throat. So, even though I've learned to kind of mentally cope with it, it's still stuck in my head that I don't want it to happen again. I don't want to see my sisters go through that. And the fact that I don't live with them, I feel like I'm a bad big brother because I can't protect them anymore. That's another thing, by the way, that I forgot to mention as well. I've been kicked out 3 different times. All 3 times were because I did something that he didn't approve of. And it was at 16, 17, and 18. The age of 16, I just kept begging for help. I would beg my mom, please take me to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist or someone. Please, I need the help. And I would sit there and beg her all day. Nothing. When I was 17, I finally saw someone. And I was on 8 to 9 different medications because they treated me like a guinea pig. They wanted to see what medications would work, what medications wouldn't work, etc. And again, I would plead with her to please get me help. And he didn't want me to let her know about all of the previous abuse. So he kicked me out at 16 because of it, and then he kicked me out at 17 because of it. When I was 18, I ended up tearing my labrum at work. And if you don't know what that is, it's a ligament in your shoulder that basically holds your arm to your shoulder, or your shoulder to your arm, however you want to call it. It's basically right near your rotator cuff. And I tore it completely off the bone. So essentially, I had Tommy John surgery. And I wanted to help out afterwards at home. I wanted to do chores, but because of the way that the surgery was scheduled, it ended up messing up my sleep pattern. So I had to do everything at like 2 or 3 in the morning. And I decided to take the garbage out with, obviously, my left arm, because my right one was in a sling. And apparently I made too much noise. So I eventually got punched in the shoulder that I just had surgery on, that I wasn't supposed to move at all, and it was a full force punch. That was the last time I got kicked out. That was about 3 in the morning, where I had to call my grandma, and I had to actually get picked up by her. And I've been with my grandpa ever since. There's been no abuse here, and every time I talk about it, nobody in my family wants to listen. And it's not like a negative thing or anything like that. My mom doesn't want to listen to it anymore because she feels guilty. She feels that she's responsible for what happened. When my grandma was still alive, when I would talk to her about it, she would be the only one to listen. She would let me vent. She would let me get everything out. And she told me I wouldn't have to worry about that ever again because I was here with them, not with my stepdad. When I try to talk to my grandpa, he's old-fashioned. He's 76 years old, so he's old-fashioned. He's he's getting better. He's allowing me to vent a little bit more about like my mental illness, about the abuse and stuff like that. But he's treated me like a son ever since my mom had me. So for me to tell him about the experiences that I've had in life, he doesn't want to hear the negative. And I can completely understand that. And I don't blame him for that at all. So, the question that you guys probably have is, why am I telling you this? Well, as I mentioned towards the start of the video, I've made videos previously on mental illness, you know, trying to get people help. Maybe my videos is a way for you guys to escape that, or my Discord server is a way for you to skip that, or the links that I provide in the description are ways for you to finally find help. And I'm, like I said, using my personal experience that I've gone through to try to help someone else. I'm going to try to use my platform in order to help you guys out there. Because I can guarantee you, someone will watch this. And someone will be dealing with abuse. Someone will be dealing with bullying, mental illness, etc. And if I can help you, that's all I want to do. I would love to help as many people as possible. But I need your cooperation. And if you want to talk to me about something, my DMs on Twitter are always open to be able to actually interact with you guys. My Discord, I'm usually on it almost 99% of the time, so I can interact with you guys there. Or if you want to just talk in the YouTube comment section and see other supporters down there as well, you can do that. But I just want to try to help as many people as possible. So what I'm going to do is leave a couple of different websites along with their phone numbers in the description. There's going to be one for child abuse, there's going to be one for domestic abuse, and then I'm going to leave the mental health hotline and the suicide hotline as well. So hopefully one of those 4 things will help you guys out. This video is not going to be monetized or anything like that because that's just fucked up, but I want you guys to know that even though you might think nobody cares when you're getting abused or about your mental illness or anything like that, I do. I care more than you guys realize. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for allowing me to vent. Thank you for all of the just support that you guys give me. And thank you for everything that you do for me. And hopefully I'm going to be able to give back soon. So I'm sorry this video is a little bit longer than usual, but I wanted to explain everything to you guys. And I want to try to help as many people as possible. So if I can do that with this video, then by all means, I'm going to do so. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. And if you're going through a situation like that, please seek help. No child should ever get abused. No significant other should ever be abused. Nobody with mental illness should ever be abused. But the fact that it happens is one of the worst things possible in this world. If I can help you guys, please let me know. So, again, thank you guys for watching. Sorry for the darker tone of videos, but I just feel like I needed to make this, and I want to help you guys. So, with that being said, I will talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.